Welcome to the Charron Zone. I am here with Mr. Chad Bourquin, and I'm going to try my best to nail this intro. So, Chad, you are a professional guitar player. You are the co-owner of the Big Time Grain Company, which is your band. You're the owner of Generation Relevant Entertainment, which is a booking agency. And you're the creator of the Play Music, Make More training program.
Right. Good job.
Thank you.
That's it.
Whew, man. I'm proud of myself on that one.
We can call it.
Yeah, this is great. All right. That's quite the resume to start with. So let's just dive right into it, and let's get a little backstory on you, like how you got started in music and how you got started doing the things that you're doing today.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been playing music since I was 17. Right out of high school, or a little bit out of college. I ended up traveling on the road for about 4 to 5 years, playing 4 to 6 nights a week all over the Midwest. When that came to an end, I just thought that I needed to go do the real job thing and be responsible and that sort of thing. And
oh no.
Yeah, I know. Big mistake, but in the process, I learned a ton of stuff because I went to work for the agency that was booking us at the time. So that's where I learned
that was smart.
how to be an entertainment agent. Did that for about 5 years. Then I sold vitamins for about 5 years. And then I had an advertising company for 5 years. And then about that time, I was fed up of all the backup plans that I'd been doing for 15 years. And man, I was just sitting in my studio and just like, I'd hit my end. First of all, my advertising company was sinking because it was after the '08 crash, and it was not doing well anyway. I thought, man, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down doing something I love doing.
That is exactly what happened to me. I literally lost everything that I had in that crash, and that's when I decided, well, my life is is kind of a disaster, and I'm literally having to start my life over. So I'm going to be stubborn. And now I'm going to do what I really want to do.
Yeah. Well, it's worked out for you.
Yeah. So, so you went through basically, at the same time you went through a big life change, and then you started with what from there?
Well, we had already started the Big Time Grain Company.
Okay.
A little before that. So, because I didn't make the call right at '08. I mean, I died a slow death in that advertising company. But so we'd started this, and my brother is my partner in this, and we just took what we did is we took everything that had done wrong in all these other bands and learned from, and said, we're going to start this completely the right way that we know how to start it.
Yeah. And
so that came down from the marketing material to how we presented ourselves, to the people we got involved. I mean, all that. We just said we're going to, if we could start this exactly the right way, let's get as close as we can to that as possible. And we ended up booking, like, on pure image alone, we booked 5 gigs for higher money than a rock band I'd been playing in for like 15 years before. Without anybody even hearing us.
Wow.
So,
you just exploded a few thousand people's heads right now that are listening to this because you said the word image and and you booked right from that, and people are just like going to be like, what? No.
Yeah.
So that's a great lesson right there.
Now we had to actually pull it off when we got to the gig,
yes, definitely.
Or it would have been over.
Or that would have been your only 5 gigs.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was the start. But even though we had been doing music for years, we became even bigger students of our craft after we started this band. Both my brother and I went back and started taking more, like he took 2 or 3 years of vocal lessons. I took 2 or 3 years of vocal lessons. I went back into the guitar woodshed for like 3 to 4 hours a day. I mean, here I've been playing my whole life.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I got to do it like I mean it.
Well, that's what it takes, I mean, I do the same thing. I rehearse way more now than I used to, because I used to be playing solo acoustic shows all the time. So that was kind of my rehearsal, but now I don't. I'm doing all band stuff. So I'll sit in my room and just play songs so that when I go and play with my band, so I rehearse by myself more now than I ever have. And I put way more hours into my music business than I ever have now. I mean, it's all day, every day now.
Yeah. Well, hence all the national shows you got,
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So,
I'm actually right now, I'm in the middle of getting ready for, we've got a huge one this weekend opening for Parmalee. And,
that'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm just going over the set list, and I called in advance the show today and did all those really fun, exciting things that you do in the music business that nobody gets to see. But at the end of the day, it ends up leading to really fun and exciting stuff. So, well, cool. So, what's been your, say, like one of your, maybe a big break or like a defining moment, or one of those moments in your career where you're like, whoa, this is pretty amazing. How did I get here?
Yeah. Well, so we get asked the question, what's the most memorable show you've ever played?
Mm-hmm.
A lot, which is kind of what you're asking here.
Yeah. Totally.
So we played the World Series celebration for 2015 Royals, and there was 800,000 people there.
800,000 people.
We sound checked to like 200,000 people. I mean, it was all we could see was heads.
That's freaking amazing. As far as we could
see was heads.
Yeah.
And we were actually the only group to play that.
Really?
And so it was pretty incredible experience. I mean, we're driving down there at 6 a.m. in the morning thinking, I wonder if anybody's going to be down there at the time we're playing.
Yeah.
I've literally thought that. It's like, are they going to get there that early?
Yeah. Wow, man. Not many people get to experience that. That's got to be quite the, man. I mean, I know how much of a rush it is to play for, a normal crowd, but that's got to be just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So let's switch gears a little bit, because you do wear many hats and you have a booking agency. So I wanted people that are listening or watching to get your best tip or tips on how to attract a booking agent.
Yeah.
Something that you would.
Well, yeah, you said the word right there. Attract.
Attract. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very important word that people need to understand.
It is. A lot of bands that have this preconceived idea that a booking agent will take them to the next level, and that's the words they use. I'm looking for somebody to take me to the next level, and it's just doesn't work that way.
Well, let me tell you something real quick. I'm stupid enough to have believed that for the first 6 years of my professional, career, where I decided that this is all I wanted to do. And I tried to get, people to book me, and I tried. It's not going to happen. Number one, because nobody cares. Number two, because you're just not able to make them enough money. It's just that simple. Just do the math. And I finally learned that. And around that same time was when I decided that I was going to be as great of my own booking agent as I could possibly be. And I decided that because I finally realized, it dawned on me one day. I actually read a book by Stephen Chandler, and it was probably the 7th time I read the book, and this one passage just finally hit me, and I realized either I need to become a great booking agent for myself, or I need to just give up. It was that simple. Because I went through those years where I was like, I just need a booking agent. I just need a booking agent. And the numbers don't make any sense. So,
Well, and no agent or anybody is going to care about your career as much as you are, which is what you figured out,
Exactly. Well
So,
put.
um, so as an agent, though, I got out of that, when I went into the vitamins and the advertising and all that.
Hmm.
But I actually fell back into being an agent because a friend of a friend brought a friend to a New Year's Eve party, and they needed help booking something for a shopping center.
Hmm.
And that one little thing there has led to me repping like 5 of the largest shopping centers in Kansas City for all their entertainment. And it happened through relationships over time. But what it really did was, these bands in town all want to play these shopping centers, or a lot of them do. And so they would call into these shopping centers wanting to know how they get booked, and they would reroute these calls right to me.
Oh,
First time it happened, I didn't even know it was going to happen. I got like 50 calls in 2 days from bands.
Wow.
Because I'd just taken over the account, and these bands, some of them were like rude, saying, "I've been playing this thing for 13 years. You better keep me on." That type of posture.
Wow.
Like, wow. I mean, I learned how to build a website in like 48 hours so that I could redirect them to the website and quit taking these calls.
Yeah.
Anyway, I heard some of the worst pitches I've ever heard in my life. And then some of them were all right, some of them were good. But
do tell some of the bad ones. Let's hear it.
The worst one is the rite of passage one.
Yeah, I've been playing here for 20 years, so you better keep booking me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the top of the list with that is when the continual reasons I should book them. In other words, I mean, I couldn't even get off the phone with some of them because they wouldn't take a breath. They would just keep going and going and going. And I'm like, wow, this is not effective.
And I would imagine that completely turned you off and made you decide that you don't want to even book them because you don't want to be at the gig and have them just destroy your face with words.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right. Totally.
I did a podcast or something the other day, and one of my points was, it's really important to divert, but we'll stay with your story. But it's really important to, when you go and do a show, in my opinion, especially when you're doing like a big show and maybe you're the opening act, is to don't be high maintenance. And one of those things is don't talk people's faces off. It's
right.
kind of an unwritten art. Like, don't be up in people's grill and don't try to constantly be impressing people, I think is what I'm really trying to say. I think that's an understated part of professionalism that people don't really talk about much.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
There's nothing worse, right, than having someone, call you to book a show or something, and they're just talking your face off, won't let you get off the phone, and trying to persuade you to book them because they're so wonderful. Yeah.
Well, but unfortunately, that's a lot of what happens.
Yeah.
And some, you might say you don't know what you don't know, and that could be the case. They just haven't learned.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm saying all of this because I used to do the same thing. Yeah. I would call places when I first started, and I would try to, I would try to like convince them on the phone call why they should book me, and I think a lot of people, it's a learning curve, and I think a lot of people think that they need to do that, and also with networking too, I think networking for me now is more like, it's just fun because it's more like just gathering acquaintances and people that know you and that and might be potentially friends. But back in the day, I used to just try to, like, if I would meet someone in Nashville and I knew that they were, with a label or with a venue or something, I would try to like impress them in that 5 seconds of meeting them, and it never worked.
No. I mean, we all do it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
So,
what was interesting though was at the same time this was all going on, I was hearing about these bands that were making killer money in the same town. And what was interesting was they never called me. They never tried to get a gig from me. The only reason I connected up with them was because I started having other clients say, "How do we get them?"
Right.
So back to the whole agent thing. How do you attract an agent? You know, that's what they had figured out. They became the kind of band that people wanted to book, and that's what got the agent.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. It really ends up being your product. What is your product? What is your end product? And, you know, not only, of course, how good your band is, but how people respond to the band live, your performance. Do people come? You know, do people come depending on where it is? Do people buy tickets? Do you put butts in the seats? Or if they're not ticketed shows, do people come and buy drinks or, you know what I mean, whatever. And you know, I'm always talking about, you know, before and after the show and how you treat people in your professionalism and how you carry yourself.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So okay, so if there was a band that was trying to play at this place, what would be something another thing that would be a terrible thing for them to do, or what would be something that would be great for them to do to impress you to book them?
You're talking about if they called me?
Yeah.
If I'm on the phone with them? I think if somebody called me and they said the majority of the conversation was them asking me questions about what is this place looking for?
Yep.
From a client, you know, what are they, or from a band, what specific sounds are they looking for? What are they looking for the band to do? You know, doing that type of conversation would have a whole different vibe to it, just because it's you can tell there's like for example, now when I call to book a gig for our own band, I ask a lot of questions because number one, I actually want to make sure we're even right for the gig.
Exactly.
Because I've done this long enough. I don't want to play a gig that we're not right for.
Yeah, right. And you don't want to waste your own time or the venue's time.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, I have a little bit of advantage because when I can do that now, I can actually, if we're not right, I'll book somebody else in it. But you know, I'll find them somebody right. But even if I didn't have the agency, I would still do that.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
So everybody listening or watching that's looking for gigs, call them up and ask them questions, find out if you're the right fit.
Yeah. And some other questions like, who have you had before?
Yeah.
You know, were you happy with them? Why? Why were you happy with them?
Yeah.
What did they, that was good? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Market research, right?
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Excellent. So, we're going to switch over to something similar. So I always ask people this question: what is maybe a big mistake that you made in your career, or something that you would tell your younger self that you wish you had known back then that you know now with all of your experience?
Yeah, so it's kind of along the lines of what we're talking about, but I think my biggest mistake was I remember specific times in my career of thinking if I just talked to enough people, I could move this thing forward. As opposed to, I'm going to quit worried about talking to so many people, and I'm just going to become the kind of product that will move it forward. I want to become so good at it. And the ironic thing is, I mean, that's the fun part anyway.
Right.
You know, it's so wrapped up in this other part that we actually lose the fun part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
so you decided to be more aggressive and go on offense with your product, so to speak.
Yeah. and that's, that's my guitar playing. That's my, that's big, that's finding a coach to help me personally grow.
Mm-hmm.
There was things that I needed to work out personally. My brother and I have had a coach now for us, what we meet with every week for almost 6 years now.
Wow.
And there's I could probably credit him to a few times of keeping us together.
Oh, wow.
So just because, we were working through some stuff. Now we're as solid as we can be and we're partners in everything we do now.
Yeah.
So, but that was, growing myself was equally as important as growing my guitar playing.
Yeah, I really believe that mentors, coaches are invaluable because people that have been there before, and they can give you a bit of an outside perspective as well. Is like I said, I think it's invaluable. That's amazing that you've done that. So I guess we'll kind of wrap up with any other advice that you'd have for any up and coming bands, singers, musicians that want to be doing what you're doing and playing all these shows and playing for, what was it, 200,000 people.
It was 8, but
God damn, it was 800,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to cancel school that day because nobody was coming in. I mean, the teachers, they couldn't get subs, nothing. So they just shut schools down in all of Kansas City.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, any advice or tips that you could give to all of us, so that someday I can play a show like that. That's just a dream come true.
Yeah, I think knowing your why first, knowing why you're actually doing what you're doing, is probably the number one thing, and then beyond that, become a student of every part of it that can play into that. We've bought multiple training programs ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're not done.
Yeah.
Anytime we want to learn something new, we'll go get a program. And it just, the information is so out there to do whatever you want to do. You just have to want to learn it. Mm-hmm. And they need to buy your program for sure.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, who doesn't want to open up for all these national acts? I mean, it's fun to do that. So. No,
man. Yeah. I mean, yes, it is absolutely the greatest thing in the world. And I tell people I've wanted to do this. I've wanted to literally do exactly what I'm doing now since I was in 5th grade. And I still, when I play a show, it is greater than any drug I could imagine. I don't really do drugs. And maybe that's why, because nothing compares for me to performing music in front of a crowd. That's the ultimate thing. It's the ultimate high. And that's why I kind of get crazy telling people how important this is. If that's like your dream, and if it's, it's been my dream since I was a little kid, it's all I've ever wanted to do. And if the payoff is that unbelievably amazing, then you absolutely have to invest in yourself and put in the time, money, work, effort to get the payoff to do this stuff. Because if that's why you're doing it, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you have a big enough why like that, like you love the actual art of what you're pushing so much with every cell of your being, then you need to invest, your life into being a student of the game so that you can get there, because it's way more worth it than I even thought it would be. Yeah,
for sure. We do these. One of the other things we do is these keynote concerts in high schools and middle schools.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
It's called the Dream Big series, and we go into the full blown concert, PA production, whole deal. But the gist of what we're trying to accomplish in there is figure out what your zone of genius is. What is that thing that when you do it, time completely disappears to the point that you just like, where did those 3 or 4 hours go? Because you were having so much fun.
Yes.
And once you figure out what that is, then figure out how to get paid for it.
Yes.
So that's how you spend your life.
Amen. I literally have goosebumps right now. I'm wearing a jacket, but I have goosebumps. Awesome. I 100%, 1,000,000% agree with you. I couldn't have said it better than that. But yes, your zone of genius. I love that. Really, really, I always tell people, really, really think about what makes you happy. Like really sit down and make a list of things that you can do that are good for you, that make you happy. And if one of those things is playing music, performing, being a studio musician, whatever it is, if one of those things is music, then do more of that. And then like you said, that's your zone, and then work your way up, baby steps to getting paid for it. And then the next step is to make a living doing it, right? And then the next step is, on and on and on, and doing bigger and better things like you're doing. So that's really, really amazing that you're doing that and doing the keynote speeches and all that stuff. I love it. Very impressive. And it's such an amazing win-win, because then you're affecting people in a positive way with the keynote as well, and playing music. I mean, bravo. So tell everybody, to wrap up, where they can find you, and tell us about the Play Music Make More.
So as far as the band, just bigtimegrain.com is our website, so you can find us there. And then our own, we have a training program like Tim as well called Play Music Make More. That is, we've got a free ebook that you can get, and it's just playmusicmakemore.com. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, Chad. I really appreciate it. I think, this is going to help a lot of people, and congratulations for everything that you're doing, and everybody definitely check out go grab that free ebook. And what was the URL one more time?
Play Music Make More.
So you just go to playmusicmakemore.com and you can get the free book right there.
Man, I appreciate this, Tim.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for being on.
Yep.